Good evening. Are you guys excited? I am very excited because I'm going to be your guide to one of the great mysteries, the Star of Bethlehem. This has been a mystery for 2,000 years since the original events, and people have wondered about it for centuries, whether the star was a real event or whether it was something made up by the early church. And, you know, really, that's the two basic positions people have taken historically. Believers, some people believe the Bible is true, and they say, well, the star's in the Bible, so I'm good with it. They don't worry about it. But there are other people who have a more critical attitude towards the star, and they read the story, and they say, wait a minute, that star is described as doing things that stars can't do. That must have been made up. You know, it's a myth created by the early church to add weight to the name of Jesus of Nazareth. Well, those are the two pole positions. We're not going to take either one of those this evening. What we're going to do is to treat the star more like a puzzle or a mystery to be solved. And we're going to go through the Bible and find all the clues we can there, and we're going to compare those against the facts we know from history and see if there's a matchup. And I think you're going to find this completely fascinating. Before I get off into the whole presentation, though, I always like to tell people how I came to do it. So most people want to know that anyway. I'm not an astronomer. I'm a lawyer. And so it's kind of strange that I'm doing this thing at all. But I got fascinated with the Star of Bethlehem, and it became almost an obsession, and that's why I'm standing here. So let me tell you how that happened. It began with a young man in our neighborhood who wanted to make some extra money, and he had this great idea of setting up Christmas decorations in people's yards. And he went door to door to everybody in the whole neighborhood. He's going to house, and he gets to my house, and he says, Mr. Larson, you're not going to put up the decorations, you're going to look at my book and pick a figure. So I look at the book, and it's full of things like duckies, you know, and bunnies carrying presents and things like that. And I'm a deeply committed Christian, so I just couldn't go there. So I just looked at the thing, and I blew it. I declined. Everyone else in the neighborhood did it. And the result was that the whole neighborhood lit up with this unified theme come Christmas. People were driving in from out of town to drive through our neighborhood real slow, 5 miles an hour, all the kids looking out the windows and all that stuff. They get to the Larson house, and it's dark. So I had to do something. And my little daughter, Marion, decided what we should do is make the three wise men. So we did. We made wise men that stand about that high, draped them with cloth and all. They look pretty cool. They march across my front yard every year at Christmas time. So when you have three wise men, what else do you have to have? You got to have the star. So Marion says, Daddy, make a star. And you know, I immediately kick in with the lawyer's way of thinking. It's like, well, what was the star? If I'm going to make a star, what did it do? What did it look like? How long did it last? And was it a shooting star? Did it explode? Was it an angel? I mean, what was the star? So I got sensitized to that question. Next thing that happened is I came across an article by a PhD astronomer that took the position the star was a real astronomical event. Fascinated me. Read the article. Most of it just went right over my head, you know, because I'm not an astronomer. Didn't really understand it, but I kept it.
and I actually put it aside and intended to look at it every year, just as almost like a Christmas tradition is what I was going to do. And I always thought in the back of my mind, someday I'm going to puzzle that stuff through. Astronomer or no, I'm going to figure that out.
Next thing that happened to get me on the path to what I'm going to show you, my church asked me to teach a course called Essentials, which is the biblical basis for the core beliefs of Christianity. So I'm writing the curriculum for Essentials, and I decided, well, why not put in just a little section in the Essentials course about external evidences, meaning things outside the Bible that tend to show the Bible is true. And as I was putting that one together, the star came to me. I thought, my goodness,
The Star of Bethlehem. If that's an actual historical event, I mean, how about that for an external evidence? You know, so that turned me on totally. And I said, okay, now's the time. I'm not thinking about maybe someday. Let's start. And so I bought some astronomy software. And for months, and it actually turned into years, I would go out on the deck after dark, after my girls had gone to bed, and I would go through that article, tap on my computer, look into the software, look at the sky, found everything in the article, eventually found a whole lot more, and a lot of stuff that I have to say was pretty darn close to shocking to me.
In fact, the presentation, when I first gave it to the Essentials class, basically dropped every jaw in the room. So I thought, well, maybe I'm going to have to show it to more people. So I decided to show it to my entire church. Same reaction. Then other churches started asking me. Pretty soon I'm getting requests from all across the country and even overseas. And I'm winding up going to Slovakia and Italy and all these places presenting the star because the interest is so high.
It seems strange to me that he would ask somebody